The main web server's down? Alright. I'll get up and take a look at it. Okay. Got the coffee. And, what was that command I ran again? I know we've dealt with this before, but I can't remember what it was. Man, I wish I had my notes or documentation. So does this sound familiar? Well, if you worked in IT and you've been on call, there's a good chance you've had to deal with something like this. That being said, documentation can help us out, not just in events like this. Stay tuned to find out how.
Oh, it's Blackburn and tech, we're leveling up. From networking paths to systems we trust. Let's break it down, let's build it back. Together we're learning, right on track.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I know this isn't really the most exciting content, but it is definitely important, especially if you're a seasoned IT pro or you're wanting to become better at it. The reason why documentation is the way it is, because IT, we're known for not trying to document, especially if we're just going to hurry up, build it, here you go. And then it seems like management always wants us to document it. So there's two mindsets typically behind documentation, the lack thereof documentation. You get the, I'll remember that, and chances are at 2 in the morning you're not going to remember that, or maybe you have it on a sticky note at your office, and so this is what that server does. Okay, but at 2 in the morning, an emergency, or maybe you're in a rush, you can't find it. That's one of them. The other one is ego. A lot of people don't think about this, but naturally we're all I want to make sure that I feel like I'm a valued person on the team. And if I'm the one who knows everything about how this is built out, that's true. Yeah, it makes you valuable, but it also makes it a risk at that point too. Stop thinking about it. Say you go on vacation, and you're the only one who knows how that server works, for example. Then that's not a great situation. Or something happens to you and you're unavailable, or maybe you decide to move on to another company. This is a real common situation that it's what is known as tribal knowledge. So you get into that mindset where I know it, but this is who I need to go to for this. Like, for example, if I want to know about this particular networking question that I have to ask this one person in the team. That's pretty good, but the larger your IT department grows or your business grows, the more that's not sustainable. So some reasons to actually document, not just because management told me to do so. Most common ones are listed here. Onboarding is definitely important. Say you have some new staff coming in helping you out, or maybe you're contracting some stuff out, make it a little bit easier on you and your IT team. If you already have like the basics laid out of what services we have, what servers we have, who do we actually serve, and why, that's a really common one. And then here's the servers that we currently have and what their purpose is. That's huge, especially from like a managed service provider. If you have documentation on how to make it easier for you and your team, it definitely comes into play. Disaster recovery, this can be, say you hire a security expert, you're going for a certification, things like that. Yeah, that definitely will be paramount that you have this stuff documented, and there's a lot of documentation that goes with that. But maybe you don't have to worry about certifications or anything, or maybe you're just a home lab user and you're like, well, why should I even document? It's just my home network or my home setup. It still applies from a disaster perspective. If something goes wrong, how do you fix it? What was built there? What services did you have running? What IP addresses did you have it set on? Did you run proxies? For example, those are really good common questions to factor in. And why did you have it built that way? And is there ways we can make it better? For the consistency and quality, that's That comes more down to like a typical organization, maybe your laptop naming convention, your switch naming convention, and just having just general consistency. So maybe you have a newer staff member that's just building out a few virtual machines. Here's our base standards that we have for our virtual machines, for example, and why we have it built out that way. And it could even be maybe you're building out a new storage servers or whatever. It doesn't really have to be just virtual machines. But if you go, well, our minimum we have is 4 high-speed network cards and 2 management ports because we always want to make sure we have management access to it. That would be a good reason to do it. And to save yourself. That one, like the entry skit on the video. Yeah, absolutely. At 2 in the morning, you're saving yourself because you can look it up quickly and go, oh yeah, that's what this is, and this is why it's doing that. This is how it should be built out. But even then, think about it from that's an emergency situation, but maybe it's not an emergency. Maybe you just got tasked with rebuilding another one of them. Say you already have a production web server like on the entry skit. Okay, maybe you got tasked with building another one because you're going to put it into a cluster, so you have resiliency. How did you build it? So if it's not built the same way and it fails over to it, maybe it might impact user performance or experiences. And for the real talk. So this is a section more for like my real world experiences that I've had with it. And I'm also curious on what your guys's are with it because whether you're an IT pro or not, we've all had it where we go, man, I wish that was documented. And I think that's true all the way across the board. It doesn't even have to be about IT, but this one is focused on IT. For example, one of my employers, I got tasked with building out a production server that's public facing, and I was like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. I feel pretty confident in it. Um, so, what is this server doing? And I didn't realize it was behind multiple proxies, even internally. And so I had to track back just how to get physical access to the server, let alone there was a bunch of scripts on there that was running stuff and a bunch of services doing different things. And there was no documentation on why or what those services were. And that made it to the point I asked, okay, does anybody know anything about this server? And I had to ask some of the senior staff that's been around, and they was only able to tell me what they knew about it, which I greatly appreciate it because I wouldn't be able to rebuild out the server identically if not, and especially because that's prime time to also clean up stuff. If so, we actually had some services that nobody was using. Do we want to copy this over and still use it? Because that one's using a lot of CPU resources just to do it. For example, it made it easier for us. And then now that we have this new server already in place, we're going to be putting it into production. Went through and documented what's where, what's file structure, how does it actually relate. Like, I didn't go into the detail of actually here's the Python script and here's actually what it's calling, but even if, say, maybe you had a Python script and you just said, this one's creating folders for our web share, for example. If you didn't know what that script there was there and why it was there and who's calling it, it could definitely make a difference. And let's look at it from a network perspective. Maybe you're a managed service provider and you get tasked with coming in and looking at a client's network and you're going, okay, well, this is great, but you have all these IP addresses, all these ranges and everything. What's this doing? Are you running VLANs? Are you running this as one huge 10/8 network? And explaining why it's there is definitely important. And there's many reasons we can keep going on and on and on about it, but I mean, I'm curious, what is one of the areas that you guys have experienced that you go, man, I really would have loved for that to be documented? Or do you disagree with me? Maybe it doesn't need to be documented. Why would you document and why would you not? I think that personally, by having it documented, we're not dealing with tribal knowledge. We know that our entire team's going to be aware of what's going on. So I would love for in the comments, if you guys wouldn't mind, drop that, give a like, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you like the video, please tell me. If you don't, that's cool too. Please drop that in as well and let me know if we can do anything different to make it better. As always, thank you for watching Blackburn in Tech.